Hello, everyone. It is me, Colson Kaufman, also known as I'm a Nerd Politics on YouTube. Don't mind the hair. Didn't feel like doing anything with it today. But I wanted to discuss one of two different issues. I'll discuss the second issue in another video. I wanted to talk about school shootings today because as of yesterday, September 10th, 2025, Evergreen High School, which is in my state of Colorado, was had fallen to a school shooter in the building who took one life of an innocent child and also another victim who was wounded and injured severely. It's crazy to me that in 2025, people are still actively talking about school shootings. And the problem is that they've only gotten worse and they've only gotten worse and they've gotten worse and worse and worse. And no one on the political side, no one who has power to do anything has done anything. I wanted to read this article because they just released the name, not the picture, but the name of the shooter, who was a 16-year-old by the name of Desmond Holly. And his online persona was named as radicalized. Doesn't that sound a little scary? That your online persona is radicalized. That means someone who is far left, far right, or far delusional. Far goddamn delusional. And it's unfortunate because there should have been online tracking, both from the schools and the federal level and the state level and the district level, that should have been keeping all eyes watch on this student before he could have done any acts of violence which he committed. And it's so sad because it has only gotten worse since the Texas elementary school shooting that was back in 2022. And it's only gotten progressively worse to a point where parents don't feel safe sending their kids to school without the threat of there being a delusional person or student trying to condemn and act in violence on others for no rightful reason. And it doesn't lead a prosperous future in the United States. There's no reason for gun violence. There's no reason that school shootings should be happening. And I want to talk about it on the state level in Colorado, where I'm from, where a lot of laws seem to be just completely all over the place. It's not just school shootings, it's a lot of other preposterous laws that Colorado can't seem to finagle out of their ass, unfortunately. But really, what I want to talk about is why isn't it that politicians can't seem to fix these issues? And the reason why that is that they don't want to fix school shooting issues, because they make so much more money profiting off of talking about fixing the issue than they do fixing the issue. And it's sickening to me that these politicians go out there ignoring all the issues of, oh, well, I'm sorry about this school shooting. We'll do the best we can to protect. Well, you haven't done shit. You haven't done fuck all. It's gotten so bad that it's not a 50-50 chance of, will my child or will my student possibly have a gun and shoot people? It's a 25-75. It's almost likely that it's to happen. And there shouldn't have been a victim. There was a victim who did die. His name was Matthew Silverstone, 18, and he had no reason to die. Desmond kept loading, firing at anyone visible in his shooting distance. And there was no reason. I imagine Matthew was a beloved teenager who was loved by his school, by his friends, by his family, by other loved ones, and his community. And there was no reason he was to be taken out of the aggression of whatever Desmond was delusional about. And, it's unfortunate because there are students out there that do these acts of violence because they are bullied and taken upon, they feel taken upon themselves to relinquish hate and vengeance against those that were bullying them. And it's an issue. But at the same time, killing people, eliminating those because you couldn't ignore them or move past them is not a good decision. There's no place for violence. There's no place for people under the age of 18 to have guns locked and loaded near them or in their bags. There's no place for it. And it's unfortunate that these politicians, that these lawmakers won't do anything. All I want to say is I'm sorry to Evergreen because no student, no child, no one should have the fear of life or death be put right in front of them at any moment in their life. That should never ever happen. And there's a way to stop it because it comes to the debate of protect guns or kids. And I say, let's protect both. But listen, let's protect both by having guards at schools provided freely at no cost, not just in Colorado, but around the entire nation, to ensure that bags are checked, that kids are monitored for their behavior that is suspicious and could act out. Have teachers talk to their students. Have teachers present and do presentations on the safety matters and what to do if you need safe to tell. There has to be acts done. And I think it's gotten to a point where there has to be guards at our schools to make sure that students do not get harmed, killed, and that there's a brighter future for that. Now, on the other hand of gun laws, there needs to be so many things done to fix those issues. One, to buy a weapon, I do believe the age standard needs to raise its limit. I think it's 18 to buy a weapon. I think that should be 25. And also, they should do very, very deep background record, research on every person that they are selling a gun to. Before they sell it to them, they should do extreme background checks on records, no matter if charges have been dropped. They need to do extreme, thorough investigations on background checks on these individuals who purchase a weapon. They need to do tests that are on their physical and mental capability to be able to purchase a weapon. Because none of those things have happened. People can walk into a gun store, test out a weapon, sign up, give them a license. And all it takes is like an hour or two, maybe a day. And then you got a license, you're old enough, you buy a gun. What's the worst that can happen? Unfortunately, the United States, and it's not just the United States, it's a lot of other countries' problems. We have weapons that have caused so much mass destruction. And the problem that is that they're so widely publicly available, which they shouldn't be. There has to be standards of what is the limit of like AR-15s. Probably shouldn't sell those to the public. When I talk about guns being sold, I talk about pistols. I talk about a shotgun or something small. I don't talk or whatever. I don't know much about guns. I'm sorry, but AR-16s and giant machine guns and weapons of such mass destruction should not be publicly sold. And it doesn't matter the price. You can raise the price all you want. If someone has the money, they'll buy it, and who knows what they'll do with it. There needs to be mental checks, there needs to be physical checks on the capability of owning a weapon. There needs to be a higher age limit to when you can buy a weapon, and there needs to be and that goes with licensing too. There needs to be so much licensing checks. There needs to be huge background checks on, on who can have these weapons. And also, as parents, secure your weapons so that your kids don't end up having guns or weapons to hurt others widely available. I've always said that children should have parents, but there are unfortunately parents that shouldn't be parents. And the reason school shootings happen is because parents don't do their job of securing their child and talking to their children, letting them know what's going on. Why are you feeling down? They just hope everything's okay. They grab a gun and they start shooting. And it's not always kids, it's adults too. And unfortunately, in today's world, you can buy weapons on the clear and dark web no matter what. There's always a loophole around to getting access to anything in this world. But if you want to fix the issue, you need guards at every school for free to protect children. And I'm not talking about no mediocre mall cops. I'm talking heavy duty standard guards at every school nationwide to protect our children, no matter their ages, no matter if it's a public or private school. It needs to happen. And also, you need to do better efficiency on licensing for a weapon, raising the age limit to which you can buy a weapon at, checking for the mental and physical capabilities and stability a person has on buying a weapon. And also, what the limit on the weapons you can buy is. It shouldn't be anything past a handgun or a shotgun. Nothing more than that. That's all I really wanted to talk about. I mourn and I am sorry to all of those that had to witness seeing the death of a student and an injury of another student at Evergreen. It should have never happened, and it's totally avoidable if these politicians would just do something. But no, we have to do something as people now because the politicians won't do it themselves. That's all I really wanted to talk about. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.